Today I'll be going over the Chapter 10 SPSS exercises. So the first question, the GSS dataset includes responses to questions about the respondent's general happiness, the variable happy, and his or her subjective class identification class. So they want you to analyze the relationship between responses to those two questions with the SPSS crosstabs procedure requesting counts and appropriate cell percentages. So in order to do that, we do click on Analyze, Descriptive Statistics, and then crosstabs, and then we'll use the information we get from SPSS to answer these first four questions, like what % of working class people responded that they were very happy, what % of lower class people were very happy, what % of those who were pretty happy were also from the middle and upper classes, and most of the people who said they were very happy were from which two classes. So to make this crosstabs, we go to Analyze, Descriptive Statistics, Crosstabs menu. We find our dependent variable, which is happy, and we find our independent variable, which is class. We put our dependent variable in the rows, our independent variable in the columns. We click on cells, and we make sure we get column percentages. So we click this box right here, or make sure it's clicked. We hit continue and OK. And then SPSS will give us our output here. So to answer these questions, you just have to read the crosstabs like you've probably learned or will learn in class. So then the next part of the question, they ask you, is there a relationship between perceived class and perceived happiness? And if there is a relationship, describe it. Is it strong or weak? And then the last part of this question, they want us to rerun the analysis, and this time adding another variable as a control variable. So in order to do that, we go back here to Analyze, Descriptive Statistics, Crosstabs, and then when we get here to Layers, we're going to look for that variable race and 1, and we add that as a layer. And now that will add our control variable to our crosstabs. So we hit click OK, and we run it again, and here we are. Now we have subjective class identification and general happiness, and it's broken down by what is race first mentioned: white, Black or African American, American Indian, Native, all these categories right here. For question 2, we need to analyze the relationship between self-reported health condition and general happiness. So we're going to use SPSS to construct a table showing the relationship between health condition, the variable health, and reported general happiness, the variable happy. So we're going to use health as our dependent variable here. And then we want to use SPSS to construct tables showing the same relationship, and then we're going to control for sex. So we go to Analyze, Descriptive Statistics, Crosstabs. So we find our variable health, and we throw that in our rows. We find our variable happy, throw that into the columns. And then we're going to use sex as our control variable. We go over to here, make sure this columns box is checked so we can get our column percentages. Click Continue and click OK. Now SPSS will give us the crosstabs for the respondent's happiness based on their sex, male or female. So condition of health, sex, happiness. So all the information we need to answer this question is right here. So you need to analyze it and find out if men or women are more likely to report excellent health. And then C, do women and men with higher levels of happiness report poor or excellent health? And is there a relationship between the happiness and health? And make sure you support your answer with data from the crosstab that we just made in SPSS. Question 3 asks us if there is a difference in attitudes about abortion depending on the circumstances of the woman's pregnancy or her reason for an abortion. So we're going to separately assess the relationship between sex and two abortion items. AB poor, should a woman have an abortion if she can't afford any more children? And AB health, should a woman have an abortion if her health is seriously endangered? And then what do you conclude? So for this, we're going to have to make two different crosstabs with sex as our independent variable and AB poor and AB health as our two dependent variables. We go to Analyze, Descriptive Statistics, Crosstabs, and we look for our variables. So AB poor, we'll do that first. That'll be our rows, and then sex will be our sex will be our independent variable. Click on cells, make sure that column percentages is checked, hit continue, and OK. So the analysis you're going to do is going to be based on this crosstab that we just produced here. Now in order to produce the other one, we just come up here, descriptive statistics crosstabs, we take abpor out, and we look for ab health. And we put that in as our dependent variable, click OK, and then you can answer that question based on this crosstab that we just produced here. Question 4 asked us, for the GSS 2010, respondents were asked to report which candidate they voted for in 2004 and 2008 presidential elections. So the variables are Pres 04 and Pres 08, and their feelings about the Bible, the variable Bible. So they want to know if a relationship exists between a respondent's 2008 vote and his or her feelings about the Bible. For example, if someone thinks that the Bible is a, quote, book of fables, did the individual vote for Senator John Kerry or President George W. Bush? If the respondent believes that the Bible is the Word of God, how did the respondent vote in 2004 or 2008? So the first thing you need to do is you need to identify which should be the dependent variable, and then explain your answer. And then using SPSS crosstabs, we're going to create two tables with Bible and each of the different voting variables, and explain the relationship between the two variables for 2004 and 2008. And remember, when you discuss your findings, you should exclude those respondents who did not vote. And then for the last part, we're going to examine the relationship between Bible and one of the voting variables with a control variable of our choice. So we go into SPSS, we go to our crosstabs, and if you hit this reset button, it'll reset all these for you. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to find our dependent variable, which is going to be Pres 04. Then we find our independent variable, which is Bible. Go to cells, hit column, make sure we have this percentages in our column, hit continue, and OK. And here's our crosstabs for the 2004 presidential election, whether or not somebody voted for Kerry, Bush, or Nader, depending on what their feelings about the Bible, whether it's the Word of God, inspired word, book of fables, or other. So, like it said, in your analysis, don't bother with the people who didn't vote, so you can just ignore this row right here. So after we have the 2004, we need to look at the 2008 and see if things have changed. So we get rid of this variable, and we replace it with the 2008. And click OK, and here we go again. Now we got vote for Obama or McCain and feelings about the Bible. And the last thing it wants you to do is to add a control variable of your choice. So you can use either 2004 or 2008, it doesn't matter. We're just going to stick with 2008 because it's already up. Go to Analyze, Statistics, Crosstabs, and then, so I'm going to go with sex as our control variable to see about the relationship between men and women. So here we have our males and our females, whether or not they voted for Obama or McCain, and their feelings about the Bible. So you can choose whichever control variable you want. I chose sex because it was easy. It's either male or female. But you can go nuts with this variable if you want. For the final question in this tutorial, we're going to be using the MTF11SSD dataset. So make sure you get out of the GSS dataset and load up your MTF dataset. So based on this, we're going to examine the relationship between a teen's race and the number of friends who drink alcohol and smoke cigarettes. So using SPSS crosstabs, we're going to create two tables with race and each friend variable, and we're going to look at the relationship between these two variables. So we need to go to Analyze, Descriptive Statistics, Crosstabs, and we're going to look at our two variables, which are our dependent variable is race, so we'll throw that into our columns, and our dependent variables are the ones about friends. So friends drink, we'll start off with that, rows, put that in rows, Hit cells, make sure we have the column percentages clicked, click continue, hit OK, and our SPSS will produce the output for us. So you need to analyze this question based on this output we've just produced. And to get the other table, we do the same thing, and we get rid of friend drinks, and we look for friend smokes. Put that in there, and then click OK. And then you need to analyze the relationship between these two variables. So thanks for watching. Again, here are my office hours, and if you need anything, just text, call, or send me an email, and I'll try to respond to you as soon as possible.